I want pure sorrow, I call up Princess Diana's death. Or the day that my dad fell off the roof when I was a kid. Kaplunk.
Hey, say, that's a nice trick.
Oh, it ain't no trick. It's a gift.
Henry, I cannot tell you how many times people stop me and say, if you ever see Henry Winkler again, please tell him thank you so much for coming on our show and explaining that there's nothing wrong with me. The power of coming out.
You know what? It probably in every area. The fact is, I don't still understand that. I just had my 75th birthday. I still don't understand how we don't look at other people and realize we are all the same. We all have different fractures in the mirror of our soul, but otherwise, this is it.
For people who don't know your story, because we always know where people are, we don't know how they got there, what was the earliest sign that you knew that you were different in a way that people looked at as not good?
First of all, I've always made this joke, but it's true. My parents called me dumme Hund. They were short Germans who escaped Nazi Germany, and dumme Hund means dumb dog. My teacher, Miss Adolf, told me I would never achieve. And then other teachers subsequently said, your grades are so low, good luck to you. And all I knew was I wanted to be an actor. So the lesson that I learned is, you are very smart. You don't need to know geometry. And if you know what you want and you keep focused on your dream, there is no reason that you can't get to where you want to be.
Because I want to tell you something, staying in school is cool.
You know that the dropout rate, the incarceration rate is very high among a lot of kids who were ridiculed in school, who felt like they were a failure. And if it not for that very thin line of one person, maybe one person who advocated for them, who advocated for you? Because it wasn't your parents. They were frustrated. Teachers were frustrated.
Rock, my music teacher, and I can't sing. So I wanted to be an actor. I could not even do plays in school because I really am in the bottom 3% academically in America. But Donald Rock wanted me in the play, so I had to join the choir. And when we sang Gregorian chants in a department store, everybody was singing a cappella, and I was...
You were acting.
I was acting and I was silent. And then when I did the musical, I couldn't sing, so I talked the songs. There is more than one way to get to where you need to be. And there's no right way, there's your way.
Oftentimes we find that kids who are dyslexic, ADHD, ADD, you name it, become very skillful in other ways. My son was like that. He'd be reading a book in class and the teacher would look at me and go, "It's not in the book." And I'm like, well, no, it is. Look, he's telling the story. She goes, "That's a different story." But he told it like it was right there on the page. But there's a skill set that's almost like survival. And that's the skill set that got you to Yale. That's the skill set that got you into the business.
That's right. Because even getting into Yale, I had to do 2 monologues. One of them was Shakespeare. I did a monologue of a character, Lawrence, talking about his dog. I forgot it. And I said the first line correctly, Lawrence and his dog were walking, and then I was off, and I literally made up Shakespeare.
You ended up in the business, happy days, and I'm old enough to remember that on the first run. Like, I would not let my parents rest until I had my black pleather jacket. But you were able to use that skill set there as well, because you still weren't really reading your scripts, were you?
Every Monday, the cast would sit around the table. We were with the director and the producers, the writers, and all of the heads of departments. There was props and costumes and sets, and they would listen to the script on Monday morning as we read it, and they would know what was going to happen that week. And I literally fumfered over every line. and literally ad-libbed every line, some of which they wrote and I used, and some of which I had to go back and memorize verbatim over the week during rehearsal, line for line.
The irony of that is that you were called this child who was a dumb dog, but really your brain is brilliant. You know, it's genius. You actually came up with something, a catchphrase that we were all doing. We're like, hey. What was the story behind that catchphrase?
I'll tell you exactly. There were paragraphs, and sometimes I reduced all that language to a sound. And, hey, I think you're great. Hey, you're beautiful. Hey, I'm hungry. Hey, do not mess with me. So I could take the sound of A and I could make it into an entire paragraph.
Hey, whoa.
Then I added one word, which I got from my favorite sport at the time, horseback riding. Whoa.
How much of playing that character was a part of you, that child?
The Fonz, who was really tough, and Gene Cousineau, the acting teacher on Barry, were both written tougher. And then just as I interpreted what was written on the page, they shifted and the writer said, oh, yeah, he could go that way. We could make him softer. We could make him more vulnerable. Absolutely.
Going back to those feelings of the child, and all of a sudden you're the Fonz, you are the most idolized guy in the country, and now you've just won an Emmy for Barry. Do you ever truly believe that I've arrived, or sometimes
No.
does that, yeah?
No, and I'll tell you why. And this is the truth. Now, do I like being famous? Yes. Is it helpful to me? Yes. Did it put a roof over my head? Yes. But here's the thing. It didn't make me a different person. I am still short. I still can't spell patience. I can't spell tenacity. I can't do math. So stardom didn't change me as a person. It just helped me live a life, a fuller life. That's all.
You read your first book at, is it age 31?
That is the truth.
Wow.
I
And you've gone
love
from
it.
reading your first book at 31 to now you have penned your 35th book?
Yes, that is true. The 35th book with Lynn Oliver. I could not do this without Lynn Oliver, but it is Alien Superstar. It is the second one. This one is called Lights, Camera, Danger. Every character we write, no matter what the story is, always is on the outside, looking in, wanting to be on the other side of wherever they are. They never feel worthy. They always feel less than. And I didn't realize it, but it's the same with every character.
And that's why I think we connect to it. You're absolutely right. I was going to say is that all your characters are, the perception is that they're flawed, but in reality, they're perfect. It's kind of like, how can you stand out from the pack if you're too busy hanging with the pack, right?
If you feel less than, I'm here to tell you, one of the things that I have learned in my life is that is not true. You are unbelievably powerful. You have to believe it, you have to look for it, and then dig it out and give it to the world. And you will be surprised. And this is not even a lecture, this is just the truth of living. You will be surprised what you can accomplish that you never thought you could.
And that's one of the things that I would imagine writing allows you to do. You know, lights, camera, danger. You put no limits on it. Sure, there's like a form of writing and the whole bit, but you let your imagination go and create this wonderful story.
I never thought that I could do this in my entire life. That is no joke. The first time I ever saw my name on a book, I smelled it. I rubbed it all over my body. I'm not kidding, I could. And now each time, honestly, I look and I think, oh, we did it again. Oh, there was a blank screen. There was a blank piece of paper. And oh, look at this. There is a novel. I have no words. I'm amazed.
And Henry, I will tell you, it is not just a book. Again, from what I've seen with people reacting to you telling your story, what I see when kids can open up a book in their own private space and melt themselves into that imperfect character, what you're also helping to deliver is self-esteem, a child who will dare, and a child who will dream. Henry, thank you so much. Hey, you're number one.
Thank you. What a lovely conversation.
Thank you so much. You make it easy.
Thanks.